You're watching the Bethel College Football Show.
I say, brother, you stay hood! Brother, hood, brother, hood, brother, hood!
Sears is going to fake the pitch to Juarez. DJ Sears in for the touchdown.
Hello and welcome to the Thresher Football Show. Bethel College winning this past Sunday against Kansas Wesleyan in Salina, 30-24 the final, and Bethel stuns number 9 Kansas Wesleyan, and Bethel number 22 going into that game, now ranked number 14 in the country as they get ready to come back home and take on the Ottawa University Braves at Thresher Stadium, 7 p.m. kick. And you can watch that on the KCAC network. Well, this man to my left, A.B. Stokes, head coach of the Threshers, a statement win against Kansas Wesleyan. We'll break it down in just a second, but man, I know that you've gone through all the emotions since it happened, but just looking back at it, what's your mindset about it going forward?
Well, honestly, I knew tonight we were going to have to talk about it, but I've left it where it was for now. I told you, I think on one of the other shows, greatness lives in the past, right? So you can't ever stop and think too much about it in the moment. And it's funny, people may say that's coach talk. Well, it's only talk if it's not in action. It's really our action. That's really how we look at it around here. But It was just an amazing feeling, and as soon as I have a minute to catch my breath, I'm gonna really look back and enjoy it.
Absolutely, I remember. I'll never forget this game, this past game, and the reaction of not just you, but everyone involved with the program. The excitement and just the camaraderie that guys getting close. And guys that are perhaps new to the program that just got even closer. And so it was really exciting to see. Emotional game, though.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think, for me, the emotions were more so that we talked about theme of the week last week, and it was faith. And we really believed all week long. We had faith that we were going in to get a job done, and to see that come to pass, and to know that it's maybe a young man on the team who's gonna grow in their faith because of it. It was just like just an awesome feeling, unlike almost anything that I've been a part of in sports.
Yeah, it was one of those moments that a lot of these veterans on the team has experienced somewhat before in this program previously, but just introducing some of those new guys to see what the fruits of buying into the culture here really paid off in that game. And it was a hard-fought game. There were so many moments where the Threshers were tested in so many different ways, and they were able to pull out the victory 30-24. We'll kind of get into it in a second. Other scores from last week in the conference: McPherson goes to Ottawa and wins 27-18. Southwestern wins 32-14 in Leavenworth against St. Mary. Avila wins an abbreviated game against Bethany in Lindsborg 21-0. And Tabor in Hillsborough taking on Friends University. They win 35-16. And, of course, the Threshers winning 30-24. Well, Coach, they score right off the bat in the game. They throw the deep ball. They test you. Mm-hmm. I remember talking to Philip Williams after the game. He said, after that, I was never letting that happen again.
Yeah.
And, Drayvon Makin's a really good receiver. They have a talented quarterback in Tony White, and they had all those connections. But the rest of the game, that wasn't quite there for them. It was kind of a learning moment for you guys, and you really just had to figure out how to respond.
Absolutely. And, Coach Markham and Coach Schultz, they do a great job game planning. And you saw there was a couple of times where Coach Markham would take a DB out and put another one in. And I just look at him and say, hey, what's going on, just to be in the know. And he just say, oh, he's kind of tired. He's kind of tired. I want a fresh guy in. And just trusting all those guys. And so it's just one of those things of trusting everybody who prepared throughout the week to do it. And then, like you said, learning from the mistakes. We've got a rule here: don't strike out. You know what I mean? Don't make the same mistake 3 times. And so our guys, they do a really good job of self-regulating and monitoring themselves. Where if they do make a mistake, they try really, really hard to not make that same mistake over and over again. And Phil is, he's an awesome guy, and he knew that it was one play. DBs have to have short memories anyway, and he knew that the coaches had full trust and confidence in him that he was going to get the job done the rest of the night.
Absolutely. Yeah, Phil, a veteran defensive back for you guys. I can remember him freshman year, and just the maturity that I've seen from him over the last few years is impressive at the same time. So you guys get the ball, they stop you, you have to punt, and then they get the ball back, and then defense comes up with a couple big plays in a row. Tony White gets his helmet knocked off after being tackled, and they bring in their backup quarterback, and he chucks a ball, and Brendan Sanders is right there for it, returns it 46 yards, interception, return for touchdown. Brendan has just been playing unbelievable. I guess I should go back into Saturday a little bit when he had the hit at the true start of the game. I guess if you could go back to it, where he knocked the ball out of the receiver's hand, and Grant Godsey had to return on that. But man, he earned Defensive Player of the Week in the conference honors, and earned is the key word there, because he's just been on a tear. The last couple seasons, and even a couple seasons ago, and it was just he was learning so much, and now he's got to a point to where he has a lot of confidence, and you just really see how good he is.
Absolutely. And here I am with that absolutely word again. I'm sorry, Dan. I'm trying to yes.
I've already been victim to it.
Yes. But Brennan, he does it every day in practice. Every single day in practice, he comes to work, and the coaches see it, his teammates see it. They admire him for it, and then it's reflected in games on Saturdays. And I'm so happy for that young man that he was recognized by the conference, and people recognize that, hey, he can play, because like I said, he does it every day in practice. So when he's doing great things out there, no one on our sideline is surprised by it. Like, we're like, yep, that's him. That's B again, making another play, just like he does in practice every day. So congratulations to him. It's well deserved. Overdue, if you ask me.
Yeah, and we were talking about those deep balls. He knocked down a couple of them where they tried to go back to the that deep kind of post or seam route, and Brendan was right there to knock it away at least 2 times, take away that opportunity for K-Dub to score. And he gets the pick 6, knots it all up, and then you guys just kind of keep fighting it out the rest of the way. So certain things happened. Get another touchdown, and then
we actually got to recover the fumble.
Yeah, we recovered the fumble.
Doug Grider Doug Grider recovered the fumble that gave us great field position, and it's like set us up for a scoring drive, and so we were able to cap that off. And
that was a big drive though, because DJ throwing the football to Braden was so big of a moment in the game, because when you established the ability to pass the ball on them and score in the passing game, they had to respect that. And you could argue, anybody on the outside looking in at your program could see that, they just run the ball. Mm-hmm. And you created a threat within that. You found something there.
Yes, Coach Langford did a great job calling this game. I thought he was it was the most prepared week we've had offensively, and it showed. I thought he did a great job. And you've got a guy like Braden Francis who's caught deep balls all his career and able to connect with them in that game. It was just like you said, it was big for us moving forward within that game.
You got a lot of momentum going forward. Obviously, they score again on a blocked field goal return for touchdown, and then I believe it was 17-13 at halftime. Kansas Wesleyan had the lead, 17-13, and you guys were right there in it. Some people could be feeling down about themselves. I'm not saying you guys were whatsoever, but the mentality that you guys brought out with the second half, where did that start from?
Well, I mean, we've been down all season, Dan, at
Right.
halftime. We were down to Friends 10-7. We were down to McPherson 13-0. So we're down 17-13. My attitude going into the locker room is, hey, we got them right where we want them, boys. You know what I mean? Like, we've been here before. So
Advantage Threshers.
Advantage Threshers. You probably heard that ringing a lot. But no, it's nothing to panic about. It's at the end of the day, I'm trying to teach these men that football is a game. It's a game that you can use to learn life lessons. It can build you up, within your character, and all of this stuff will reveal your character, strengthen your faith. All of these good things, you can use it for so many good things. But at the end of the day, it is a game. And on Saturdays, well, in this case Sunday, we were there to play the game. And I tell them all the time, and they know it, that winners, champions, they just want to keep playing. So at that point, the only thing that really mattered was we had 30 more minutes to play.
Yes.
And our guys just wanted to play the game. So that's it, man. It's nothing. I don't believe you have to get guys up if they really want to play. You don't have to, rah-rah those guys. They want to play. All you got to do is remind them, hey, this is a game, fellas, and winners want to play it. So, let's go play.
Indeed, yep. So you guys come out, and Logan DeMond hits a 32-yard field goal, your first drive back out in the second half, make it 17-16 type of game. At that point, you knew that you had to continue to fight and how important it was. Kansas Wesleyan, they score for another time, and we didn't know it would be their final score of the game there in the third quarter. But when it was 24-16, that was a big moment in the game because how were you guys going to respond?
Oh, yeah.
Was the biggest question. Were they going to break away, or were they going to let down? There's so many things. It was a huge turning point right there, then and there, because right there for you guys is when it began. The rest, it was. Okay, so the rest of the game, you look at it on paper and you see that they didn't score again. Shut out in the fourth quarter. You guys respond. And unbelievable. DJ gets a touchdown run, and he gets the 2-point conversion, which was, it's so impressive what he did there.
It was, because it
busted
was
play.
Busted play.
Big time busted play.
Oh, man, we practice that play
off
every week, and we didn't run it right. But the beauty is we didn't run it right, so we can use it again. We can use it again
there
if
you go.
we need it. So.
But then, you tie it up at 24. Your defense just has to get a stop. You guys stop K-Dub, and then you get the ball in great field position because you could have got it a lot worse. Yeah. And
what was it, about 60-ish?
Yeah.
About 60?
It wasn't very deep at all. And then you guys – there was so much importance around your offense about what you had to do there because there were 3-4 minutes left in the game at that point?
No, it was under 2 minutes.
Under 2 minutes. There you go. So,
but
still at
because
the same time.
I remember watching the clock, and we had 2 timeouts, and I asked Coach Markham because they had a fourth down and they were punting, and the clock was running, And I remember asking him, hey, do we take one of the timeouts here and let it run and not let it run under 2 minutes, or just let it run under 2 minutes and save our timeout? And he said, well, I don't think it. I think it's better to have the 2 timeouts. That's what he said. And I was like, yeah, we practice 2 minutes every Friday anyway. We practice 2-minute drill. So
Sure.
And we try to go fast anyway. So
Yeah.
that was that. So it was under 2 minutes. I say all that to say that's how I remember it was under 2 minutes.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, and you could get your players, everyone could get really flustered and like oversped up with so many things that you knew you had to do. You knew you had a chance to win the game there, have the ball last, so to speak, and make the statement made. And you get a couple good runs from Chance. I believe DJ also had a decent run there as well. And then you find Tucker Smith for a 25-yard pass, a huge, huge pass play that set you guys up. And then Chance Scurry, game-winning touchdown.
So fitting. Last 2 weeks you had Seabolt have a game-sealing interception return for a touchdown, and Chance Scurry now with a game-winning touchdown. Hopefully we don't continue to need game-winning things, but it's Braden Francis' turn next. So we got 3 fifth-year guys. It's Braden Francis' turn next. I'm calling it right here on the couch.
Well, hopefully you don't need a call.
Yeah, hopefully we
touchdown.
don't. But if we do, it's Braden Francis.
There you go. So the Threshers went at 30-24. They were able to carry over and stop Kansas Wesleyan with 27 seconds left. You guys get a big play and get basically a strip sack. They had to toss it around a little bit at the same time, and the guys were just so excited. They've been to so many of these games against Southwestern in recent years, but to finally, for the first time in 14 years, defeat Kansas Wesleyan was so huge. Not just for them, but the guys that have come before them in this program, the people that were even attached to Bethel College that are maybe graduated or moved on or whatsoever. But it was a significant moment. 2008 was the last time that Bethel had beat Kansas Wesleyan, and Lauren Reeser's grandson, Reed Hammond, was on the team back then. So give you a little perspective on that. But the Threshers went at 30-24. DJ Sears, 8 of 12 passing for 98 yards and a touchdown. His longest was to Tucker Smith for 25 yards. DJ rushed for 63 yards and a touchdown. Chance Scurry rushing for 61 yards and a touchdown. Receiving game, Braden Francis, 3 catches for 39 yards and a touchdown. Isaac Harkness had some good catches for you as well, 2 for 35. Tucker Smith, 1 of 25 there on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively for the Threshers, obviously Brendan Sanders with a key interception return for touchdown. Yes, so many guys. Doug Ryder with the fumble recovery. Doug made some good plays in the backfield. Jesse Garcia did. Cade Miller did. I mean, you have so many guys. Jairo Castillo. I'm gonna leave somebody out because there were so many guys. Amani Peoples. Yes. Yeah, he was so pumped, and it was a significant moment when he and Cade Miller put pressure on Tony White there and ended up getting him in the backfield for a sack. But so many guys stepping up when the team needed them to the most in a 30-24 victory for Bethel. Coach, just what are your final thoughts from that game?
I'm just grateful, man. I mean, grateful to be able to win, and especially with the games that have been played between Bethel and Kansas Wesleyan in the past, and ending the 14-year drought, and being able to bring that back home to Bethel and the Bethel community, and for these young men, again, it was awesome. But I think the best part about it, man, was the faith factor, and that'll remain the best part even when I look back after the season. Because that right there meant way more to me than just the win itself. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to say it. I don't care. Absolutely. Because truly I mean it. What was my final thought from the game would be just the significance of the players that stepped in when guys like Josh Seabolt came off the field, Keegan Martin came off the field, Antoine Thompson stepping in at guard was significant. And at the last second even, just some great some great attitudes and performances from those guys to step in when needed most and prove that they can get it done as well. It's not just top heavy on this team; it's everybody from top to bottom. So the Threshers get the victory, 30-24, improved to 3-0 on the season with victories over McPherson Friends and Kansas Wesleyan, and they are now moving up to number 14 in the coaches poll for the NAIA, as well as reflected in the media poll for the Threshers. And Kansas Wesleyan drops to 18, and Southwestern stays at number 6 in the country. Well, the Threshers getting set to take on the Ottawa University Braves at 7 p.m. Thresher Stadium. You can watch it on the KCAC network. I'll have the call for you. And or you can get it on the KCAC Network app or whatever you want to do, Smart TV, Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, Roku, all that good stuff. So hopefully you can watch it. If you can't, or if you can't make it to the game, watch it there. But if you can, come to the game because we've had some great crowds, home or away, already this season for Thresher football. So when we come back here on the Thresher Football Show, we're going to talk about Ottawa University coming to take on the Threshers.
Thresher fans, get ready for the upcoming school year by becoming a member of the Bethel Booster Club. Your membership impacts all athletic programs by paying for experiences last year, such as the Threshbees Award Show, postseason experiences and postseason tickets, the Hall of Fame banquet, enhanced live streaming equipment, new banners in Thresher Gym, equipment for the Gearing Hall weight room, windscreens at Ward Tennis Center, and Thresher Stadium. Be a part of Thresher Athletics history and a booster club that is living out the Bethel College Athletics mission by creating life-changing experiences for our student athletes through 4 levels of membership plus parent and young alumni specials. Athletics is an integral part of the Bethel College experience, and thanks to your support, we look forward to growing our success for the future. Visit BethelThreshers.com/Booster Club to become a member today.
We're kicking off another year here at Bethel College, and we need your help in making this another successful season. Thanks to your generosity in the spring, we were able to purchase championship rings and practice jerseys for our players, giving them a big-time experience. Since then, we've added several new faces to the program, and we couldn't be more excited to get to work molding a group of upstanding young men. All summer long, our guys have been getting after it in the weight room, and since August 5th, we've been hard at work preparing to put a product on the field that honors the tradition of Bethel College football. With your help, we're ready to make this another great year. Thanks for your generosity, and roll on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Thresher Football Show. Dan Page alongside head football coach of the Threshers, A.B. Stokes. Bethel 3-0, heading into their Week 4 matchup against the Ottawa University Braves. Ottawa comes to town, and it'll be an evening kick from Thresher Stadium. You can watch it on the KCAC network. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the series, Threshers went up to Ottawa last year, got the victory. In fact, they've won 3 straight coming into Saturday's game. Coach, you were part of the staff back in 2018 that got introduced to college football.
Yep.
And Ottawa put a kind of hurting on the very young Bethel program.
Yeah, it was an ESPN game. I think we dedicated the turf that game, if I'm not mistaken. It was definitely an introduction back into college. I'd done some student assistant type stuff at Sterling, but definitely a reintroduction back into the KCAC. So,
but distant memory at this point, 3 straight wins for the Threshers a couple years ago up at Ottawa. You were part of the staff back when a blocked extra point won it up there, and then the next year Ottawa comes here. In fact, the last time Ottawa came to North Newton, the Threshers put up 78 points on them, and Trey Palmer had a pick 6, among other outstanding performances in that game for Bethel College at the time. And then so the Threshers welcome in Ottawa to town after winning 3 straight in the series against the Braves. Ottawa 0-3 to start the year, and they've had some different difficult games themselves. They've been challenged quite a bit, actually. They played Southwestern. They lost 29-6. They were up 6-2 at halftime in that game in week 1, and then lost at Avila 39-9, and then played McPherson at home and lost 27-18. And I believe McPherson scored 27 unanswered points.
Something like that.
To win that game. And so Ottawa definitely looking to put their mark on the season under new head coach Nick Davis, who was promoted from being an assistant. He's looking for that statement win like you guys just had against Kansas Wesleyan. And Ottawa is going to come to town and make things a little bit interesting. They graduated probably their top defensive player maybe of all time, Colby Johnson, who is multiple-time All-American. He was their Josh Siebold for many years at that program. But Ottawa's going to bring a competitive approach to the game. Although they lost to McPherson, you know that they're capable of being in games, and you can never count anybody out in this conference.
Never. Yep.
So when you look at Ottawa coming into this game, Coach, what do you see?
I see a really good football team, very, very talented, and like you said, they've been tested, kind of on the other side of the test at times though, and but they just like everybody else, they're trying to get better week to week. And I'll tell you this, we definitely will not underestimate them or look at them score watching or anything like that, because we're still trying to improve just like everybody else. Like yes, great win last week, but we all we're aware of it today. That we still haven't played our best football. We haven't played our best football, and that's what we're trying to do. Like we're getting better, but we haven't played our best football yet. And once we start playing our best football, then we'll be okay with any outcome that we have, because it's our best football. But until then, you just got to keep preparing. You just got to keep getting better, and that's how we look at it. And I know that's what Ottawa is doing, because you can see the improvement that they're making week to week. And they played two of the top 4 teams in the conference preseason voting wise. They played Southwestern and Avila already.
Already to start the year.
Yeah, to start the year. So, and then McPherson also, which I thought was a very, very good football team coming into this year. I knew McPherson was gonna be a pretty good football team, and they were right there with McPherson. So they I think Avila kind of got away from them, but Southwestern and McPherson, they're right there with opportunities in those football games. So
yeah, it's definitely a difficult way to start the season when you played 3 of the top 4 teams within the first 4 weeks of the season. So definitely difficult schedule for the Braves, and you guys getting ready to host Ottawa, and it should be a pretty good game. Coming into the game, Ottawa just with 1 touchdown through the air, and on the ground just 1 touchdown as well. So interesting enough. And then they've given up 12 touchdowns on defense, 6 passing touchdowns, and 6 rushing touchdowns at the same time. But despite that, that they have some weapons. They've shown multiple different quarterbacks coming into this week's game. Billy Maples, Noah Schumann, and Austin Zavala among those. Their leading rusher coming in the game is Jared Daniels. Ran it 26 times for 219 yards, yet to score on this season, but did have a 61-yard run within the first 3 weeks. And then some of their top receivers are in the 80s and 90s receiving coming into this game. So, and then their lone receiving touchdown came from Isaac Gibson. So that was what they look like on offense. I'm sure that there's going to be some things that are similar to what they've done in the past under Coach Kissinger, because obviously you take away a lot of the good things and you want to keep re-implementing them. That more just as well as anybody else, knowing the success previously, because that program a few years ago was a very good program, and they had won conference championships under Coach Kissinger, and so they still want to get back to that point. But they feel like they have something to prove, and they're coming to North Newton, and it's going to be a tough test for you guys because they're going to give you some different looks.
Yeah, they're going to give different looks, and we were watching. I mean, against Southwestern and Avila, they ran like trick play type of things, different formations, like reverses and things like that. So we have to just try to prepare as best we can and be ready for them to take shots at us and try to catch us on some things that we haven't seen much of this year. But it's all about preparation and our guys just want to play, and we're gonna respect them as we prepare, and we're gonna respect them and play for 60 minutes.
Those are some of those guys on offense. On defense for the Braves, A.J. Hempfield coming into the game with 24 tackles, and I believe 8 of those for loss coming into the game. Actually, 8 tackles per game average. And Jensen Riffle and Santino Gee, some good tacklers as well. And then Devin Johnson and Kyle Reynolds amongst those. The defense for Ottawa with a couple interceptions on the season as well, and a couple fumble recoveries at the same time. So they're looking to take that ball away on defense no matter what they can do. Obviously, they're feeling like they have to replace an All-American linebacker, and it's tough to do that on a defense because when you probably lose a solid leader at the same time, and a guy that really is the engine that goes sometimes when you're in a difficult situation. But when you look at them defensively, what have you seen coming into the game?
Well, we know they like to run man. They like to run a lot of man, and Coach Davis, he's a defensive-minded guy. I know that, and he's kind of coined the defense or patented the defense that I think he has some credit of creating. And I could be wrong, but this is my understanding that it's like the spread stopper defense or something like that.
Okay.
And so they'll do some things that are unorthodox. And the crazy thing is, sometimes when the defense does things that breaks rules, it gives offense struggles because offense relies on, hey, I'm going to block this guy, he should be there. It shouldn't be 3 guys going in the same direction. Mm-hmm. Kind of if one guy leaves, another guy's coming. Those are kind of some of the rules that an offense expect defenses to follow. And they'll break rules and tendencies, and they'll man you up for extended period of times and try to just send pressure and count on their guys up front to make plays. But so I expect them to be just very well prepared and what they do, and hopefully we're prepared as well.
It's the Threshers and Ottawa University. This week's game, Week 4 at Thresher Stadium, evening kick. You can watch it on the KCAC network. And Ottawa coming in 0-3 on the year with losses to Southwestern, Avila, and McPherson as they take on the 3-0 Threshers. Other games in the conference for this week, a lot of evening games where you haven't got to where the bulk of the conference is playing afternoon games because of weather and heat, and we know all about the weather. I mean, The Threshers have been bringing the storm the last couple of weeks.
My goodness.
Literally 2 games, and those have been on the road, though, so that's a good thing. But Avila is at Southwestern. That's going to be a heck of a game down in Winfield, a statement game. Who knows what Avila can do? They are looking to have a solid game. They know that they'll be challenged against Southwestern. Southwestern trying to, hold their ranking at number 6 in the country, and a very talented team and a very good coaching staff, really on both sides of that matchup. So that'll be one to look out for. The Mound Builders taking on the Avila Eagles in Winfield for evening kick. We'll monitor that during our broadcast on during the ball game with Threshers in Ottawa. And then Sterling's at home against Tabor. The Warriors looking to have a statement win of their own. Tabor coming in with some momentum after a victory last week against Friends University, 35-16. And round out the conference slate, Kansas Wesleyan's back at home to take on the Bethany Swedes. So, Coach, I know you've had a chance to kind of look at some of the teams in the conference just a little bit, but we talked about the top 4 teams, but really with you guys, Kansas Wesleyan, Southwestern, and Avila. But as far as the big picture looks like, how would you evaluate what the conference has this year?
I think I think it's a really, really tough conference because you look at, only thing you have to look at is kind of scores, and for the most part, no one's really running away with any of the scores, or just kind of getting away from teams and blowing people out like that. Nobody's really doing that too much. I mean, you look at some of the teams that haven't really been near the top over the last couple of years, at least to my knowledge, but like, St. Mary and Tabor, and they're like winning games and they're playing people tough, and same thing with Ottawa, who, you say they're 0-3, but they're a scary 0-3 team. They're playing teams tough. Like you said, the scores and the halftime scores and things like that. So it's a tough conference, and I'm glad because it keeps us, on our guard, and we have to continue to do the things that we've done up until this point, not just this year either, but the things that I know have been staples here within this program to ensure that we're going to do things the right way, and in hopes that it leads to positive things on the football field.
Yeah, I mean, this conference definitely needs everybody to step it up like we've been doing. We've seen that trajectory for the conference because the vision is you want to have multiple teams in the postseason.
Oh, yeah.
Like last year, the Threshers unfortunately left out of the playoffs, but you want to have 3 teams in that conversation. And it would be a remarkable year to see 3 schools make it into the NAIA playoffs, because there's only 16 teams. It's only a division of college football that only takes 16 teams into the postseason, which is remarkable at the same time. But it's like a privilege almost. In some schools, it's just like routine for them to get to that point. But obviously last year Southwestern and Kansas Wesleyan making it, and the year before just Bethel. But Avila had a share of the conference that season. Avila definitely last year was a challenging year for them. We'll break them down more when the Threshers go to Kansas City later in the season. But still a very good team, well-coached team at Avila at the same time. But the top 4 was in the preseason is, it's going to get challenged. Definitely saw some good things from Tabor against Friends this last week, and that's a good turning point for Coach Gardner and his program at the same time. But and then like you said, St. Mary has been making some big time strides. Within the last couple of years, they've had some challenges. I think last year was a big step forward for them, despite some of the results you might have seen. Thankfully, the Threshers get them at home later this year for the final regular season matchup on November 5th. But, I mean, there's so many things that are creating that competition level and raising that for the KCAC. Obviously, next year, adding Evangel to the mix is going to make things even more challenging at the same time. But I think there's some people out there that don't give the KCAC enough credit for the competitive nature.
I mean, I'm gonna have to take your word for it. You know what I mean?
Well, you played in this conference and coached in this conference, so you've seen a lot of different things.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the people not giving the credit, I just don't know much about it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I have to take your word for that, because I remember I'm removed, so I've just been back in the conference for like 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like 3 playing weeks. So but I mean, it would seem that way. I do know for a fact, like with. I think Bethel is a team that definitely deserved a postseason bid last year for sure. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So from that standpoint, then I'd say I think there needs to be a little bit of reevaluating how tough the KCAC is for sure, because that wasn't. I don't think that was right, but it's last year now,
Sure.
and hopefully moving forward, all we can do is, control our part and hope that, the powers that may be, around the country who evaluate NAIA football will take notice if we're doing things right.
I definitely wasn't jumping the gun there whatsoever. Just it's a part of the whole conversation at this point. But obviously, some very, very challenging games left for the Thresher schedule. 7 games left, and that's a lot of opportunities for the Threshers to, keep the momentum rolling at the same time. So Bethel taking on Ottawa University this week. Coach, any final thoughts before we turn you loose for the game?
Oh man, I'm just grateful once again for what you do here, for the people who watch, and the players and the families, and the coaches and their families, and my family, and this institution. Man, I'm really grateful for it, and I thank God almost daily to be able to do this. So thanks for what you do, and hope to see as many people as we can out at the game this Saturday evening.
All right, that's Coach A.B. Stokes. I'm Dan Page. Thanks for watching, everybody. Again, this is a program just for the fans, parents, and everyone attached to the Thresher football community, and we welcome anybody in that wants to join. There you go for that. So for Coach A.B. Stokes, I'm Dan Page. Well, until next time, roll on.